Hey friends, welcome back to Kat's Kitchen. I'm so glad you guys are back here with me for another episode. Today we are going to be making an easy weeknight meal. We're going to be making some beef tacos, and I'm going to be utilizing my crock pot, and we're going to make this super easy. So for this recipe, you can season up your beef several different ways. You can just use a taco seasoning. You can use a sauce that you like. Today, I'm actually going to be using an enchilada sauce that I had pre-made and then I froze into baggies. And then whenever I pulled out my beef, I pulled out that sauce too, and then let that thaw, in our refrigerator overnight. And then we put it in a crock pot. And then what I did is I actually cooked this beef yesterday. This is a roast that I had. I believe it's a chuck roast, if I'm not mistaken, into the enchilada sauce. It's a red enchilada sauce. I grab it here. To the enchilada sauce, I added some pepper, about a half a cup of water, and I put in there some Italian seasoning and onion and garlic powder. So yesterday was very, very hectic. We did not have time to eat this yesterday, so this is actually good for if you need to make it a day in advance. Go ahead and do that. What you can do is I just let the crock pot cool down completely. I left the lid on and I put it right into our refrigerator, for overnight just to store it. And then today you can see it has completely firmed up here with the fat on top. So what I'm going to do, this is actually going to make it a little bit easier for me to remove the fat. Now, if you're doing this when it's warm, you might want to run the sauce through a fat separator, let it settle, and then you can make your sauce that way. Or the sauce might even be well enough to your tasting to eat it just like that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to separate the fat and the bones from the meat, and I'll be putting all the meat into my big bowl here. And then we'll get situated with heating that back up with the sauce. And then I'm just going to toast up some of our corn tortillas. I found that it's a little easier to do it in the oven, actually. I have my oven on 350 right now. It's heating up, and I'm going to lay down a layer of our tortillas and let them warm up nicely in our oven. And then I'm just gonna do some simple toppings for this. I'll probably do like a black bean and then some cheese and some fresh veggies. I'm just using gloves during this process just to make it a little bit faster for me, a little bit easier. You don't have to use gloves if you don't want to. So as I'm going through here, I'm just gonna be taking a paring knife and cutting the beef away from the fat or any cartilage. And then I have another bowl to my other side here, getting rid of the fat and the bones. I'm also going to take a spoon and just go around here to lift up all that fat, because underneath it is the sauce that we want to use. I cooked this beef on low for 8 hours. You'll just want to cook it until, depends on the poundage that you're working with, but you just want to cook it until it's literally fall apart tender. So You're going to err on the side of caution with cooking it more than what you think it might need, because actually overcooking it is going to make it significantly more tender. And this is pretty, it's very cold. I just took this out of the refrigerator, but I mean, it's very tender. It's just falling apart. I just want to make sure that I'm cutting out all of the cartilage because it was all connected before I put it in here. And you can shred this up, you can cube it, whatever you like to do, however you like to eat it on your tacos. Okay, so now I am left with just my sauce here. Now we're gonna finish shredding up our beef. So from here, I'm just gonna take my knife and kind of go through it roughly. I'm not looking for perfection here. You can reheat this any way you need to. Either you can put it in the oven for a little bit. You can put it back in the crock pot to heat up. You can use the microwave. Heck, you can even put it on a pot on the stove and heat it up that way if you'd like. I'm sure it just all depends on how much time you have to get dinner on the table. This is probably the most tedious part of everything. Alrighty friends, so here I am just laying out my little corn tortillas, and I just overlap them just a little bit so that they'll fit on my cookie sheet. And like I said, I heated up my oven to 350, so we're just going to let them toast up. They really won't take long. And then here, instead of doing black beans, I had a can of refried beans, so I'm just going to season that up here and get this going. We're going to season this with some salt and pepper, and then some onion and garlic powder. And if you have a little cumin, you can definitely put that in as well, or a little bit of taco seasoning, that would taste good. And then I'm just letting this sit on the stove, get heated through, mixing it periodically, and then these beans are pretty much ready to go for our assembly. And I have this pot here on about a medium to mid-low. Once it cooks through and heats up, I move it down to a mid-low. Okay, so here I am with some white sharp cheddar cheese. You can use any cheese of your choice here.
This is just what I normally have on hand. So I'm just going to shred all of this, and then I'll use part of it for today's recipe and the other part for another recipe coming up soon. At this point, there's really not that much more to do. Like I said, taking care of our beef was the most extensive prep that we had to do. You can top this with whatever your favorite toppings are, whatever you have on hand. I ended up having some little cherry tomatoes, some avocado, sour cream, and some hot sauce that we drizzled over all of this. It was really, really good. Alrighty friends, so this is what we have. I pulled out our corn tortillas from the oven. You can make them, cook them until they're crispy or a little bit soft, however you like them. And then you see I did the refried beans instead of the black beans because that's what I had on hand. Season that with some salt, pepper, onion, and garlic powder. And then I have our big bowl of beef here with our sauce. And then I just have some fresh veggies. This is a white cheddar cheese, some sour cream, and this is the hot sauce that I always use. I know you guys like to inquire about that. Sucker Punch, he is on Facebook, so you can go check him out, see if he sells in your area. And then we also have some salsa to put on top. Alrighty friends, and here is our beef taco. Kind of turned a little bit into it like a tostada because I left my corn tortillas in there a little bit longer, but it's still going to be awesome. I just have our refried beans, our beef that we heated up, the white cheddar cheese, some hot sauce, tomatoes, and sour cream, and a little cucumber on the side. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you guys all in the next one. Bye-bye, friends.